Hey everyone, how are you doing? Today has been a heck of a day. I've been running an all-day special on my Instagram page, which, by the way, if you are not following me there yet, be sure to join me. I will leave the ID for that in the video description box. That is where you can book your readings with me. I do card pulls, questions, specials, energy check-ins, all of that. So just keep an eye out on my stories and that'll let you know what I'm running at the time. And I'm also on TikTok, so I will leave that ID over there as well, where I do quick little daily energy check-ins for the Twin Flame Collective, mini career readings, and things like that. So a lot of fun stuff. I don't want anyone to miss out. And I'm so happy that I'm seeing some new faces here also. So welcome everyone. Today I was actually channeling some very heavy energy. When I was taking a break from readings, I took a quick walk in nature and I suddenly just downloaded some information that I feel like there are some twin flame counterparts in the collective who were energetically trying to connect with me or that I was picking up on. And one truly just stood out to me. And this is such a heavy energy, you guys. And this is actually what I wanted to take a look into in tonight's reading. So it is possible that tonight's reading could also turn into something a little hyper specific rather than just general collective messages. But I feel like somebody in my beautiful soul tribe community is a twin flame whose counterpart is no longer here on earth. I feel like their counterpart passed on, and I don't feel like this is something necessarily new, but the sting is definitely there. That pain is still fresh as it would have been, I would imagine, day one. And this is very normal, you guys. When twin flame counterparts experience separation in the 3D physical, that is hard enough, and we've all been there. We've been down that road and we know what that pain feels like. That can literally almost push us over the edge sometimes, and we truly have to learn that soul lesson of how to stand in our own power and how to continue with our lives, knowing that energetically our counterpart will always be there with us. It's that different level of spiritual awakening and realization that we have to go through, but it is indeed a very painful process. Now imagine when that counterpart passes away. It's devastating. I cannot even begin to speak on what emotions, what heaviness, what trauma that carries with it. It's just unimaginable for anybody that hasn't been through that. And I truly believe that the counterpart who has passed on wants to communicate and to just pass on this message to his divine feminine. I believe it's the divine masculine counterpart that must have passed on. That's the energy that I'm picking up on. And if this is you, definitely feel free to leave me a comment or to reach out to me on Instagram, however you feel comfortable, if you feel the need to do that, if you feel the desire to do that. I am always here to support my beautiful twin flame soul tribe, this community that we're creating here, in any way that I can. So if this message is for you, I truly hope that it reaches you, and there's something that your counterpart definitely wants you to know, So I'm going to try and get into some history on what this connection might have looked like and what the message is from this divine masculine counterpart. And we'll just see what comes through with readings like this, especially when one counterpart is passed on. I just have to kind of see whatever comes through and do the best that I can to deliver those messages. So, gosh, it's so difficult to even know where to start, but I'm being drawn to the Lover's Oracle here. So I'm going to go ahead and start channeling messages from here. And I hope, wish, and pray that this message reaches you, because your counterpart is definitely wanting to communicate with you. So let's see here, Spirit, what can I channel for this beautiful divine feminine whose counterpart has passed on and is trying to reach her? What messages can I give? Oh my goodness. Look at this, you guys. I have goosebumps and chills and everything else you can imagine. Beautiful divine feminine, your counterpart has a message for you. I'm thinking of you this very moment. Your love fills me with light. I love you. And look at the image on the back of this card, you guys. This is a figure that is standing between heaven and earth. There's the lights of heaven penetrating this being, and the earthly realm is kind of behind them, and they're right here, but notice that their head is turned, that they are still looking over, watching over their divine counterpart, because the attachment and this type of connection is so strong, you guys. In a soulmate relationship, in a traditional, just a soulmate that you meet and marry, those kinds of connections, they say till death do us part. In twin flame connections, where you are literally one soul in two bodies, even death cannot part you. And this is why your counterpart, even after having passed on, beautiful divine feminine, wants to tell you, I'm getting choked up here, you guys. This is very emotional, and it's heart touching. It's beautiful, but it's very, very emotional. So if this message is for you, or if this resonates with you in any way, shape, or form, I just recommend that you take a deep breath and ground yourself throughout this reading, because I feel like some incredible messages are about to come through here, okay? So your counterpart is thinking of you at this very moment. Your love fills them with light, and look at this. This being is also being showered with light, and it's not just the light from heaven, it's your light, beautiful divine feminine, the love that you still have for this person. This soul in your heart is filling them with light, even though they are in the heavenly realm. What else can I channel? Okay, so I'm getting a past energy from this card, and I feel like criticism was probably an issue in your connection, in your relationship somehow. Sorry, I'm so emotional I can hardly speak, you guys. Criticizing one another will only lead to further unhappiness. Love and accept each other as you are, and your relationship will magically transform. But look at all the hearts flying everywhere and the flowers on the back of this card. I feel like when this divine masculine was still present on earth, I don't feel like you were necessarily criticizing one another all the time. I feel like a lot of that had to do with a gap in communication. I feel like you guys weren't always able to understand each other when you would communicate. There would always be this gap in understanding that would lead to conflict, and that may have led to some, words being said that kind of fit under the category of criticism. And I do feel like, yeah, some criticism possibly did take place at some point, but it's more of, I don't quite understand you, so this is the way I'm interpreting what you're saying. And it would come across as criticism and possibly lead to misunderstandings. What else? Friendship. Nurture the bonds of friendship within your relationship, and your love life will dramatically improve. So I feel like these counterparts were definitely each other's best friends, and they didn't necessarily know it right off the bat. I feel like in the beginning of this connection, one party was really trying to make friends with the other, and I'm feeling like it's the divine feminine that was really trying to make friends with the masculine. And when the masculine would try, his ways were just so different that the divine feminine didn't really pick up on that, or she didn't necessarily know how to respond to whatever he was trying to initiate. And I feel like before the initial disconnect happened, it might have been because the parties felt like they just didn't connect with one another. I feel like that was definitely an issue to where, because the alignment and the levels of comprehending each other was like this, I feel like communication just had to be really spelled out in the beginning stages in order for each party to understand each other. And I don't feel like it was because of a language barrier or anything like that. I just feel like it was such a different way that both parties presented themselves. I definitely feel like there's an age gap here, so maybe that difference between generations of how people spoke and expressed themselves that really caused this disconnect in being able to understand each other. So that definitely played a role here. I am going to go to the energy oracle cards to see what else I can pull. Sixth chakra, Archangel Metatron. So, and healer of the ages. So as I said earlier, I'm going to go through the history of this connection so you can really see who it is, that this message is for, that you can tell whether or not this is resonating and if it's for you. I feel like after the 3D disconnect happened between these counterparts, there was a strong spiritual awakening and reconnection to intuition. And because I truly believe these are true twin flames that I'm connecting with in this reading, that this is a divinely guided connection, and Archangel Metatron played a huge role in the reunion of this couple. So when connection to intuition happened for these counterparts, they were somehow able to heal from that dynamic of not being able to understand one another that led to their physical disconnect. And when they did reconnect, magically everything just kind of started to make sense. Both parties were calmer and more receptive to one another. and really just open and willing to hear what the other person had to say without that anxiety of, how am I going to be perceived by the other person? Or that courtship stage was kind of gone, that fun, flirty, playful stage was over. And this is more, serious, having heart to heart conversations, expressing true emotional depth to one another, that truly helped this dynamic heal later on. What else? Yes, this also cleared a lot of heart chakra blocks for these counterparts. So when they reconnected to their intuition, they were better able to understand where each other was coming from, and any resentments or any criticisms that may have happened in the past that was damaging to the relationship, that contributed to the physical 3D disconnect, or that feeling of we just don't connect with each other. Those blocks from the heart chakra were finally cleared. Yes. Communication. Communication then opened up dramatically. I feel like I just kind of downloaded that the divine feminine was probably the more communicative counterpart, that she was more willing to be open and vulnerable with her feelings, that she was kind of the first to express to the divine masculine what was going through her heart, what was going through her mind. And the divine masculine truly had many, many heart and throat chakra blocks, as well as sacral chakra wounds, that didn't allow him to be equally honest, vulnerable, and open with the divine feminine. So not only was the disconnect and gap in understanding caused by, a generational gap and just a way of speaking, but it was also because of these energy body blocks and wounds that had to be overcome. So when the willingness appeared in both counterparts, but especially in the divine masculine, to give this relationship another shot, these adjacent possibilities is what kept him in the state of inaction for quite some time. I think he was really worried about, if I go in and I be vulnerable and I open up, it's going to actually make me feel too vulnerable, because I am way more in love with this divine feminine than I ever realized that I was, or that I could be. And I feel like that's why he was okay with initiating the 3D physical disconnect in the beginning, because he thought that, this was possibly just another infatuation that he had. This was just like any other relationship, that with just some time apart, he would be able to forget about it and move on. But that didn't happen. I feel like dreams have a very significant element in this connection. I definitely feel like, I just heard both parties. I heard a divine feminine and divine masculine both kind of step in at the same time to say dreaming of you. So I feel like the divine feminine probably was having a lot of dreams, possibly for consecutive nights, before the 3D physical disconnect happened. And I feel like her dreams were almost prophetic or predictive of what the divine masculine's energy and behavior would be like, in their day-to-day interactions. So I feel like she kind of was able to predict what energy he would be in, what energy she would find him in that day. And then after the 3D physical disconnect happened, I feel like the divine masculine started dreaming of the divine feminine extremely intensely. I feel like they were daily dreams, and dreams that he could not escape from, and then which later became dreams he didn't want to escape from. And the only reason I feel like he might have wanted to escape from the dreams is because the connection, the attachment, the emotions were so intense and so overwhelming that he would try to push them down, because I just heard a divine masculine say I couldn't focus on anything else. So I feel like after the 3D disconnect, when the divine feminine finally pulled her energy back and said, okay, if, separation is what you want, then that's what I'm going to give you. I feel like the divine masculine really, really just started to dream of her, and he became so overwhelmed by the intensity of it all that he tried to suppress his emotions, overlook them, push them down, distract himself with other things, and none of that worked. And I feel like that is what eventually pushed him into reconnecting with this divine feminine. And that's where the fear of the adjacent possibilities comes in. These are some really detailed downloads here. Let's see what else I can get. I feel like this deck is kind of going silent, so I'm going to put these cards back and actually move to the Starseed Oracle and see what comes through here. Oh my gosh. What else do I need to know about this connection? Weight of the world, yes. So initially, I feel like this divine feminine felt like she was carrying all the weight in this relationship, in this connection. Before the 3D physical disconnect, I feel like the divine feminine was the only one putting any effort in after a while. But I do also pick up a kind of chaser energy from this divine masculine, that even when they were in physical contact, I feel like whenever the divine feminine would just kind of, want to, I heard, teach him a lesson. So probably teach him a lesson after some kind of disagreement or argument or something that happened that made her want to just push him away and draw back. I feel like the divine masculine would silently start chasing her, and I kind of get that energy of just watching her from a distance, like if she would be talking to somebody, then eavesdropping on her conversations. I feel like I'm just being shown somebody like scrolling through a phone and reading like text message threads and things like that. I don't know if this divine masculine actually had access to this divine feminine's phone, or maybe it was like a work or school situation where you chat with other employees and maybe they were reading, he was reading through her chat messages at work or something like that. I mean, and however it resonates for you, if you're connecting with this reading, you'll know. But I feel like she felt that she was literally drowning in her attempts to get this divine masculine to understand that she was interested in pursuing a relationship with him, and he was showing very hot and cold behavior. So I heard confusion. So I feel like this is what is contributing to her confusion, that, he shows interest. If she draws back, he chases her. But then when she tries to be friendly or just be normal with him, then he would draw away and push her back and just really have this hot and cold behavior that it stressed her out. I just heard a divine feminine say that it felt like I was carrying, what did I just hear? I felt like I was carrying a mountain on my shoulders, is I think what I heard. And so she was literally being bogged down by this emotional weight and the psychological weight that she was carrying. I remember soul plan, the fated life versus the destiny life. Yes. So that's when the fated life came into play. That this divine masculine, based on the soul contract, the soul plan, as the card says, that he chose to learn his soul lessons, that is what became the impetus for him making certain decisions in life. And I feel like that is what triggered the 3D physical disconnect. I'm downloading something. Let me try and make sense of this, you guys. I'm being shown a divine feminine truly just breaking down emotionally, like almost having a nervous breakdown at a certain point. And I feel like that is when she finally realized that she cannot hang on to this connection any longer, because I heard she would die if she did. So I feel like something, I want to know what transpired that led to the actual 3D disconnect. Water your garden, nourishment, body care, tenderness, rest. Yes, so this divine feminine had to start taking care of herself, watering her own garden, being tender with herself, and giving herself relief from this immense emotional and psychological weight that she was carrying. And I'm really being drawn to the fact that these, I think that's snow in the water and she's in it and it's ice cold. And I'm thinking that that water is like representing the divine masculine, and this is how cold he was being to her. And here she is, you know, bare-backed and in the middle of it with her arms around herself, like, I thought I could lean on you for love, and I thought I could lean on you for emotional safety, because I truly did feel safe with you. But when I allowed myself to step into the depths of the water that is our connection, all I felt was ice. All I felt was cold. So this divine feminine really had to learn how to give importance to herself and how to meet her own needs that she was so hoping that this divine masculine would meet for her. She had to step into an empress mode for herself, because the empress in tarot is the nurturer, the mother figure, the fertility goddess. And she had to be that for herself first before her divine masculine could return in emperor mode for her. Forge, don't follow, pave a new path. That line right there, pave a new path, really stood out to me. I feel like this divine feminine was really clinging on to this connection in every way, shape, or form. Even after the environment possibly became toxic for her, she just didn't have it in her heart to leave, because she could not stand the thought of being cut off from this divine masculine. And oh, this is such heavy energy, you guys. But then what happened, Spirit? You're not alone. Isolation, physical connection, community. Okay, let me get that card. This divine feminine truly, truly did feel very alone. When the 3D physical, before even I feel like the 3D physical disconnect happened, I'm kind of hearing her saying that I thought you would be my best friend. I thought you had my back. I thought you would be beside me. But instead, I found myself alone. And I feel like this is the scenario that the divine feminine possibly kept playing in her mind over and over during the time of separation, that the divine masculine was telepathically picking up on, and which is what kept him afraid to come back in after the separation phase with communication, because he didn't know how she would respond to him. The next card that I had seen was your life is a canvas, artist, manifestation, creative accountability. Then the divine feminine finally started to step into her power and recreate her life. I feel like she went through quite a long period of not being able to function in her normal day-to-day life the way that she would, had her counterpart treated her differently, had the situation played out differently, or had she not met him at all in the physical 3D. I feel like this divine feminine was definitely an overachiever in the past, and she lost that ability, and she even lost, I just heard, lost that desire. So I feel like she didn't want to be any of that when the physical disconnect happened between her and her counterpart, because all she could do, I just heard, all I could do was think about you. So I think that's the only thing that her mind was able to focus on. And here's the divine masculine stepping in to apologize. I'm sorry. Defenseless, righting past wrongs, uprooting. So as the divine feminine started to step into her power, the divine masculine was triggered into uprooting those triggered and wounded patterns within himself that led him to have such hot and cold behavior toward the feminine and continuously shut her out of the connection of his life. The Seas of Mintaka, seeing potential, bringing on consciousness to light. So this is a very positive card, you guys. Notice how clear these blue waters are. Let me grab a drink really quick. Hang on. Thank you. My throat was getting dry. So I feel like when the divine feminine really started to step into her power, the clouding in intuition that was brought by the divine feminine kind of remaining in that triggered and unhealed state really started to clear, as evidenced by the clear waters in this image. I feel like the cloud started to lift because he was no longer telepathically picking up on her negative thinking patterns that was keeping her grounded in a very low vibrational state. And he could feel her vibration rising, and as a result, his own vibration began to rise. And this allowed him to step back into her life and communicate, offer the apology, and just bring in a whole new level of emotional and psychological wisdom, strength, support, emotional safety, and a whole new level of heart-to-heart communicative understanding that really was absent from this connection in the beginning. What else can I channel from this deck here? If these messages are resonating with you, please definitely let me know in the comments. I would love to know whose beautiful energy and connection I am connecting with. Star ancestors, hidden secrets, lost wisdom. Look a little deeper. I feel like this is the divine masculine in this moment in the 3D, trying to, on a soul level, step in and communicate with you, beautiful divine feminine. But I feel like What this card is hinting at is, do you see how these lights are kind of dimmed here? But it's progressive. It's really dim, almost being put out. And then the clouds are kind of lifting and you can see it better. And over here, it's just clear light shining through. I feel like your divine masculine is trying very hard to reach you, but because of your emotional state, which I feel like is very heavy and almost depressive in a sense, like you're mourning or you're grieving something, and it could be that you're mourning and grieving your divine masculine. Maybe it's an anniversary of his passing or an anniversary of a significant event between you two that is either coming up or just past. But something about emotional weight that you're carrying is not allowing his message to shine through to you. So I hear your divine masculine saying, please clear your energy and connect with me telepathically. And I just heard him step in to say, I want to say, I love you. So beautiful, divine feminine, tune into your higher self, tune into your intuition, and allow your masculine to speak with you. I believe that a spiritual level message or possibly guidance from him too is trying to come through for you. These are such different, amazing, beautiful messages, you guys. And I feel like there's something special about the way that you shared intimacy with your divine masculine. And I'm going to see if that comes through for us with the Tarot of Sexual Magic. What message can I channel? So I just heard bodily insecurity or physical appearance insecurity. So I feel like that definitely played a role in your connection with your divine masculine, at least in the beginning, until you learned how to step into your full divine feminine goddess power, accept yourself as you are, and realize that your divine masculine loves you exactly as you are. So that's what I felt with this death card, that there was a cycle of negative body image that was perpetuated, or that played, I should say, a significant role in your connection, and that eventually then died away. The Four of Chalices, the Four of Cups. So I feel like every time intimacy was initiated, there was also a feeling of despondency, of almost a sadness every time there was intimacy. And I don't know if there are other possible emotional factors at play here that contributed to that. But I feel like a lot of it was not feeling fully comfortable in your own skin. And okay, I just heard being triggered about like a past relationship. So, okay, that makes more sense. I feel like every time intimacy was initiated, the divine feminine was somehow triggered into thinking about a karmic relationship that the divine masculine was in. And she would almost start to have, I don't want to say flashbacks because I don't think it's something she actually would have seen, but she would just start having thoughts about the masculine being intimate with somebody else in the past. And that would really trigger her and not allow her to enjoy the moment fully in the present. I feel like there's also some kind of psychological trauma around sex and intimacy for this divine feminine that really just caused her to almost disconnect, like, almost kind of just observe the entire situation in a removed way. Like, I don't know how to explain it, but just her body would be with her masculine, but then her mind would just kind of be observing everything and not really engaged in the process or the act itself. And it would just kind of be, a neutral, removed observer. And she wouldn't really be present during those moments because she was being so heavily triggered every single time. And these are some really heavy messages, you guys. So if you need to, if these are resonating with you and they're triggering you in any way, please feel free to just pause this video and ground yourself before you continue. Yes, and so this caused the divine masculine to kind of go into a hermit mode when it comes to intimacy, that he was questioning, in some senses, whether the divine feminine had truly forgiven him for what had transpired in the past, because he could, on an energetic level, sense that she was holding back and that she wasn't completely present with him fully in the moment. And he was trying very hard to be in his emperor mode. And I feel that he was, and I feel the divine feminine also perceived him to be this emperor for her, but just his past potential engagements with a particular past partner is something that I feel like this divine feminine had a very hard time getting over. I want to see if I could channel any other messages here from this. Okay, Seven of Swords. Yes, you guys. Oh, I'm sorry, that's upside down. The Seven of Swords. So do you see how these counterparts have their backs to each other and they both kind of have their head hanging and they're not fully satisfied, they're not happy? I feel like every time the divine feminine was triggered by intimacy, it would really deeply affect the divine masculine, because in every fiber of his being, he knew that the divine feminine was his divine counterpart, and there's absolutely nobody else that he is interested in. But I really feel like the third party situation also affected this connection somehow. And I feel like, yeah, so the physical 3D disconnect must have happened due to a third party situation. And I feel like the divine feminine probably found out about that situation and then removed herself from the picture. So she must have actually known in the physical 3D who this third party was with the divine masculine. So that's why this particular relationship was more triggering for the feminine. Just the thought of that relationship ever having been a thing in the past even was bothersome enough to her that she was not really able to move past that for a very long time, and it got in the way of their intimacy even after that relationship ended. So I feel like even though the karmic relationship is completely over, it, on a mental plane, it carried over for some time before it completely dissipated. I'm going to use, for the first time in my YouTube readings, excuse me for a second, the Gilded Tarot Royale to see what other messages, what other information I can channel. For some reason, I intuitively, oh my gosh, see how that disconnected right there? Yes. I'm feeling like the artwork on this deck could really have some messages in here for this connection. It's something that I'm just intuitively picking up. So I'm going to use this deck to see what comes through here. What else do I need to know? Okay. Oh my gosh. Why do all the cards have to fall on the floor? Hang on a sec. Let me get that. Wow, you guys. Temperance. Yes. So the Divine Feminine really had to find her balance, and she had to learn where to draw the line, where to put the fire out with the water, and where to reduce the water to let the fire breathe. So I'm really like downloading that it took a lot of internal work, a lot of self-talk, and just a lot of painstaking efforts on this beautiful Divine Feminine's part to fully let go of the fact that that past relationship had ever happened with her Divine Masculine. Ace of Wands, yes. So I feel like when that finally happened, when the Divine Feminine healed completely from the trauma of that past relationship, there was a new beginning and a new fiery, passionate beginning in their intimate life, as indicated by the Ace of Wands. So this really took a turn for the good, for the positive. What other information can I channel here? Okay. Let's see. Strength. Yes. So, okay. I just downloaded something else. Hang on. The bottom of the deck has the Four of Swords, which is the Rest and Rejuvenation card. And this card, Strength, is the higher self of this Divine Masculine stepping in to say that I have a message of strength for you, beautiful Divine Feminine. Please rest and clear your energy so I could relay this message to you. Besides telling her to rest and clear her energy, what other message can I deliver to this Divine Feminine through my reading? Is there anything else that will come through here? Three of Cups, a celebration. So I definitely feel like there is a celebration on the horizon for this Divine Feminine, that her Divine Masculine, through intuitive messages, through spiritual level messages, possibly even through dreams, Divine Feminine, if you're not sleeping, I feel like your Divine Masculine really wants to communicate with you through the dream realm as well. And there's something about a celebration, or possibly something that may make you want to celebrate, that he wants to share with you. And I kind of get the feeling that he doesn't want to tell me what this message is that he wants to tell you. So it's possibly for your ears only. But here, the Knight of Pentacles card came out. And I feel like whatever this message is, when you intuitively receive it, you will know that it's from your divine masculine, and it's going to increase his worth in your life, even on a spiritual level, since he is no longer on this earth in the physical 3D. But you will know how much value you hold for him too, because he is still watching over you, divine feminine, and he cares about you just as much as he did when he was here, if not even more so, if that's even possible. I'm going to try and get any last cards that I can before I close this message out. I'm going to also channel a message from the Rumi Oracle deck like I usually do, just to see if something comes through from there as well. I want to channel whatever I can here. King of Pentacles. Yes. Oh, wow. Okay. So from the Knight of Pentacles to the King of Pentacles. Yes. So you are going to see the increasing worth that your divine masculine places on you, and how much more valuable your spiritual 5D connection has become, divine feminine. He was a knight when he was here in his body in the 3D. Now that he's passed on, he's become the King of Pentacles as far as worth. As far as the worth of your connection, as far as the worth of the spiritual balance, safety, and spirituality that is brought into your life through this twin flame connection, the connection that even death cannot sever, is going to be revealed to you, made known to you. And this is not to say in any way that you, divine feminine, have devalued this masculine in any way. That's not at all my intention or what I'm trying to say. What I'm trying to say is the level of worth and value that you hold for him right now. You may think it's the highest it can possibly get, but whatever is going to be revealed to you is going to show you that it can actually be higher, and it's going to get that much higher. It's going to open up a new level of possibility, is possibly the best way to say it. I hope that makes sense. These are some very intense and powerful, beautiful messages, you guys. So I'm going to channel some last love message from the Rumi Oracle. And this will be from your divine masculine to you, divine feminine, since this is a very hyper-specific reading. Any love message that I could channel, Spirit, for this beautiful divine feminine. This one, Layla, the number 34 card. Let's see what comes through here. Put aside your clever schemes, O lover. Be mindless, become mad, dive into the heart of the flame, become fearless, be like a moth. Turn away from the self and tear down the house. Then come and dwell in the house of love. Be a lover, live with lovers. Clean your chest from all hostility. Wash it 7 times. Then fill it with the wine of love. Be a chalice for love. Be a chalice. You must be all love to be worthy of the beloved. When going to the gathering of drunks, be a drunk. Become a drunk. Your thought takes a course, dragging you in its wake. Move beyond thought. Let your heart lead. Be the leader. When the grace of love is revealed, be a mirror to reflect it. When the beloved's hair is loosened, brush it like a comb. Be a comb. Rumi. How I long for my thoughts to no longer make any sense to me. Then I can be rid of them, like noisy house guests who have overstayed their welcome. Oh, the peace when they finally go. Their incessant chatter brings me no comfort. I crave the silence of you. Will you let me hear it? Will you run through the noisy house of my mind with your great muddy feet so that I can focus on something other than my mind for a while? Maybe you can make such a mess that I shall give up my plans and attempts at order completely. Just give in for a change. It's time for that. To give up my ridiculous fantasies of perfection, useless, noisy, irritating, demanding, and yet deadening perfection. I'd rather just be alive. I want to plant my head in the earth, in the same mud that sticks to your feet, and breathe in her rich soil smell. I want to feel her heart beating in the quiet movements of the roots of the plants as they stretch and grab and stop my ears with her fertile dirt, finally gaining peace from the constant infernal racket of thoughts no longer wanted. Wow, you guys. So I feel like the divine feminine here is possibly going back into her pattern of either overthinking something or rethinking something that is bringing her vibration down. And it may be in relation to her divine masculine. I'm kind of getting the feeling that something that she potentially didn't know about in the past may have surfaced and come to light, and she is feeling anger, hostility, or resentment toward her masculine as a result of that. It could be any of those things, but I feel like your divine masculine is asking you to clear your mind and energy so that whatever message he has for you can come through clearly and you can gain a better, different understanding of what is actually going on here. So I really, really hope that helps. I hope this message reaches the person that it is meant for. Please remember that these readings are timeless. So if this message is for you and if it's resonating with you, it doesn't matter when this video was uploaded, even if you find it 20 years from now, no matter where you are on the planet, it is for you. So thank you all so much for joining me here this evening. Please remember to like the video and subscribe to my channel. By taking these two actions, whether you're new here or whether you've been around, you are virtually signaling your energetic presence to me on this channel, and also signaling your openness and receptiveness to receive specific messages for you, your connection, and or your situation through these readings that may come through. So definitely be sure to like the videos and double check and make sure that you are subscribed to this channel. Welcome to all the new viewers. I hope that we continue to grow. You all are truly energetically co-creating this channel with me, with your presence and your energies here that I am more clearly able to pick up on as you are subscribing and liking my videos. So you truly all are part of this beautiful project. You are my beautiful twin flame soul tribe, as I call all of you all the time. I hope you are enjoying these videos, and I look forward to doing these for you guys every single day. It's like a treat for me to be able to do this for you guys. So anyways, you all take care. Have a beautiful, restful rest of your night, especially you, beautiful divine feminine. Your masculine truly wants you to rest and rejuvenate. So please do so that his messages can come through for you. You all take care, and I will talk to you all again in the next reading video.